A little while back, I received a shipment from Raybox Games for their upcoming Kickstarter, Legions of Steel Operation Anvil. Operation Anvil is no longer an upcoming Kickstarter, it's actually on Kickstarter and doing fairly well. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the Kickstarter campaign, check out some of the miniatures, and even take a look at how I painted one of them up. My name is Jay, and you're watching Must Contain Minis. Let's take a start by looking at Raybox Games' Kickstarter page for Legions of Steel Operation Anvil. Looking at the Legions of Steel Operation Anvil Kickstarter page, we can see that they're already halfway to their funding goal of 25,000 Canadian dollars. So they're doing pretty good already. This is, I believe they're going into their second day right now. What is Legions of Steel? Legions of Steel is actually a board game from the 1990s. And they're bringing it back for 2020. It's 2 players according to this, 1 to 2 hours, and is made in Canada. If you don't know about the game or if you want to know about the rules, they do have a free PDF here to their core rules, which takes you to a Dropbox where you can download the rule book. So on your own, if you feel like checking out the game, you can come here, go to the page, and download their core rule book and see if it's something that you'd be interested in investing in. Their core box comes with a set of miniatures, some hard tiles, and a bunch of counters and dice. So going through the page, we can see exactly what comes in here. You get 4 of these United Nations of Earth miniatures. I have these miniatures as demos. They're not the same material as the final ones will be made out of, but they look really nice and they paint up well, which you'll see later in this post. I also have a couple of these Legions of Steel Nightmare robots. They are also pretty cool and they got a unique look to them. So here are the high quality interlocking map tiles. They'll be 5" by 5". So you can create a 5-foot square gaming board. If you want, you can go through a gaming overview video that will talk about playing the game. They have a lore video that's kind of an animated sequence of the Legion of Steel robots versus the United Nations of Earth Marines. And you can upgrade your pledge. So they have an expanded set that comes with more miniatures. So you get some more for your human side, you get more for your Legions of Steel side. This is another one that I have one of. This Predator, he comes as a 3-piece model. And then they have the all-in set. For some reason, I really like these miniatures that come with smaller ones. So Zippy 0 and 1, they look pretty cool. And likewise Pandora with Vex and Spite. I think they're cool looking models. If you're interested, they have add-ons as well. And then down here they have what other people have already said about the game. And since the game came from the 90s, there are people that have played it. If you also want to know more about the game, he has a half-hour playthrough video right here that you can come to the Kickstarter page and watch it through so you can see what the game's like. If they fund within the first 48 hours, which I think they're about halfway right now at the posting of this video, they will put in stretch goals of double-sided map tiles. He has the shipping rates here, so Canada's $25, for my American viewers it's $25. A little more expensive over in Europe. This is in Canadian dollars, so for my American viewers, we can take a look at the pledge set. So the Canadian dollars for the core box is 109, which is about 82 American. And then for the shipping comes in at $25 Canadian, so you're looking at about $19 American. So all told, you're looking at about $100 American if you want to get the core box set. Like with all Kickstarters, there are risks and challenges, so just be sure that you're aware of the risks before you invest. And if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you go to the Kickstarter page after you finish watching this video. Now let's look at some of those miniatures. I often mistakenly call this guy a Marine, but he's actually a United Nations of Earth standard trooper. Size-wise, he's just a little shorter than a Primaris Space Marine. Left to right, we have a Space Cultist by GW, a Legions of Steel miniature, a Primaris Space Marine, another Legions of Steel miniature, and a 32mm Reaper miniatures figure. In this game, you have the United Nations of Earth, which is the human faction, taking on the Legions of Steel, which is the robotic faction. Here are some shots of me gluing together some of the robotic miniatures. Now let's take a look at how I painted up one of these troopers. All the colors I used are from the Start Painting Space Marines box that I reviewed in my last video. I primed it black with the brush-on paint, and then I put on my base colors blue and gold. After that I brushed on a lot of shade. Personally, I like to go heavy on this stuff. When the shade's done drying, he's a little dark, but that's okay because I'm going to brush up all of the highlight areas again. I use the blue and gold and dry brush all of the raised areas. After that, I add the textured paint and the miniature is complete. This is how the final product looks. I really like how this miniature turned out, and he wasn't too hard to paint either. Thank you for joining me in this Legions of Steel Operation Anvil Kickstarter look. Until next time, happy gaming everyone.